Welcome everyone. This is Gabriel from Spreed, and today we have one more episode. And today we are bringing someone that I recently met, but during the events that I went, when I did my research, I saw that he's such a person that we can learn a lot from him. He's a specialist in networking. I don't know if you would allow me to say this, but he's a specialist in network. He's a CEO and founder of Tablon, one of the biggest networking companies here in Dubai. And the purpose of this conversation is to spread some ideas, to get some insights, to have these questions that I have, that you guys have, that even Farooq have, so that we can discuss and we can spark conversations, so that we can help each other a little bit to grow. Let's go. Welcome, Farooq. How are you?
I'm very good, Gabriel. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. One thing, just to kind of kick off,
Yeah,
just so that people understand what we're going to be talking about.
right.
What is networking for you, if you had to answer in a simple way?
So networking is, it's a very diverse subject. Everybody has a different definition of networking. Some says selling, some says connecting, some says meeting, some says growing. But networking, I believe, I have thought about it for at least two and a half years. The true definition,
Yeah.
how the networks are built. So networks are the building blocks of the small bricks.
Okay.
So the network you have, the network I have, it's a big building. But these big buildings you have and I have and everybody has, it's made of a small brick. So what that small brick is, that is called a connection. That is called the true networking that starts from that brick.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, you or everybody has complete right to disagree with this, but this is my definition.
Yeah.
I believe networking is listening to someone from an arm's length is called networking.
Yeah.
Now, why listening? Why arm's length? It's a question. If you say I can explain my thoughts, but I would like that people who are listening this should ask themselves that why listening and why arm's length.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, they kind of misunderstand. And
Right.
it's because I think networking is such a word that is like famous now, that everyone, oh my God, I need to network.
Right.
And then they kind of take their horses ahead.
Right.
But so that's just a little bit of what we're going to be discussing. But just
Right.
before that, I
Right.
just wanted to ask you, you had an extensive CV, a serial entrepreneur, right? I was reading a little bit about, and you started in Pakistan. You had
Yeah.
a business there.
Yeah.
You went to Saudi, and now you came to the
Yeah.
UAE. So I just wanted to ask you, what do you think are the elements of Farooq, the old Farooq, for some years ago, that we need to have in mind so we understand who is the Farooq that I'm talking today?
Right. Gabriel, very interesting and good question for two reasons. Reason number one, that we are here talking about two Farooqs. And the reason number two, these two Farooqs are not similar. So if we talk about the old Farooq, naive, young, reckless, highly emotional, and highly motivated. But the Farooq we are talking about here is more natural, humble, thoughtful, passionate, a bit slower than the earlier version, and bit wiser than the last one. So I think I have lived two different lives. I have seen the peaks of an entrepreneurship and the bottom of an entrepreneurship. And I think it's not just me. I think probably 100% of entrepreneurs go through this tough journey, highs and lows and highs and lows. And along the way, these highs and lows make you learn what you have to become. And along the way, I have realized that what I need to become. And everybody has a different journey. So I think along the way, I realized what is my passion. I realized what is my purpose of life. I realized where I should be in next 5, 10, 15 years. I started seeing the vision. But if you just talk about the old Farooq just knew one thing, and that was business and money. I did not have, honestly, any purpose. I just wanted to have a business which can make good money, and that's it. But along the way, I realized there has to be some values, some passion, some purpose, some vision, which actually drives the business. It's not just money. Money, I believe it's a proof of concept. It's a byproduct. But these are the visions, the values, the passion, that what makes you who you are.
But what do you think? So we're talking about two Farooqs, right?
Yeah.
The old one with this old mindset, let's say, and this new one, if you
Right.
can use this word. What do you think that happened so that you kind of realized that you need to change? What was this
Wow.
moment?
Okay. I did not expect this. So Gabriel, every pain breaks you. Every pain breaks you, and that's what exactly happened. So what happened was, I'm not sure, from the childhood I somehow built a belief that happiness and money are very strongly connected. And when I did my first business back in Pakistan, I earned a lot of money. But when I earned a lot of money, I was so-called successful in the community, and but I asked myself, am I happy? And the answer was no. And the question was then what is happiness? What is life? And the money I was always after is not fulfilling the purpose. Then what is the purpose? So the pursuit of the purpose is what broke me and shattered me into the pieces. It did not happen just in one day. It happened in the series of events, months, weeks, not years, but in weeks and months it happened. And if you just go on my LinkedIn profile, you would find there are two breaks. One is pursuit of purpose. When I was broken for the first time, and then when I was broken for the second time. So then I just went into the world, the real world, to see what is my purpose, and that made me a different person.
So if you want to know when you were broken in life, just go to our LinkedIn and purpose of life. We find there.
So it was a gap.
I'm joking.
It was a gap. The pursuit of purpose was there, but how did I find that purpose? I think it's still more than a year. Both of the times, and in between I was just purposeless. So if you see, and start pursuit of purpose, then couple of experiences, then end pursuit of purpose, it does not mean I found two different purposes. It means I was in pursuit of purpose, but in between I did some job, I did some entrepreneurship again, I did something, but it did not become successful because I was not finding the purpose.
Yeah. Correct if I'm wrong, but what I can maybe try to read is that, because what I kind of feel, there's a lot of entrepreneurs or just people that want to do something, the challenge that they have is that maybe they don't know what to do. They don't have that purpose that we're talking about, right? And then they maybe spend so much time trying to think, what is the ideal thing that I'm going to do? What is the perfect scenario that I'm going to have in situations that I can actually start implementing my purpose? But what I can understand is that you started even without knowing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And on the way, during your journey, after failing sometimes, then you could find something that maybe is your purpose.
Right.
And then you implement, you test it out, then maybe, okay, that's actually my purpose. Let's keep this on.
Right. Spot on, yeah. You're absolutely right. So I would give you two examples. Number one, Gabriel, I'm not sure. I've seen people knowing their purpose very early. I'm not sure how. And probably if people want to know their purpose very early, probably I'm not the right guy. Because I found my purpose in approximately a decade. So somebody gave me a very good example how to know your purpose. It's like tasting different dishes. When you go to a hotel, it's a buffet. There are 100 dishes and you don't know which one tastes like what. So what do? You do not just jump on one dish, fill your plate with it, and then you come and then you taste and then you believe, no, it's not for you. Start small. Take a bite and try. If this is the one you like, carry on. Take few more bites. If you still like it, carry on.
Yeah.
And then you will realize this is the dish for me. But it does not happen on the very first time, most of the time.
Yeah. It's like it's a lot of failing.
Yes.
Right? It's
a lot of chances, a lot of trials, a lot of tests, a lot of dishes, and then you get full. And then you get bored.
Yeah.
Then you get broke. Then you become anything which that you cannot pursue. That's why I have my own 3 Ps as well. I'll talk about it if there is a question about it.
Mm-hmm.
That how this journey works. Alhamdulillah, I'm very happy. I was lucky that this journey finally, after like a decade, it started working for me. I could understand what is my purpose. Every day I'm happy. Every day I know what I'm living for. But if I just look back, it was not easy.
So you think that, you said that you found your purpose. So then, what would be this purpose that you found?
Right. So, Gabriel, I think I now started calling myself the connector.
Mm-hmm.
I believe my purpose is to connect businesses. My purpose is to connect people who are looking for something and people who are giving that thing. I believe this is my purpose. Why I say this is my purpose? Because I had learned a book. It talks about 3 P's again. It says if you want to see what is your purpose, then you have to focus on those 3 P's. One is the passion, one is perfection, and one are the profits. So if you draw these 3 circles, there are many things we are passionate about. But are those 3 things, are you perfect on those things which you are passionate about? Some, yes. But all of them are giving you profits? No. Probably just one. It's if you're lucky. From all those passions you have, the hobbies regarding work, whatever you have the passion for, see what you are passionate about. Then the second circle. See where you are perfect. Maybe you have a passion, 2, 3, 4 passions, but you are not perfect in all of those. Then some will be filtered out. Then see which passion where you are perfect is giving you profits. Then if passion, perfection, and profit would align you to give one or maximum 2 answers. That is the purpose of life.
Yeah.
For an entrepreneur, I'm not saying just for a person, for an entrepreneur, because you cannot be an entrepreneur if you cannot make money. Entrepreneurship is not about making money, but money is the proof that what you are doing is delivering the value, is making the change you want to bring to the world. So passion, perfection, and profits. Make them find the intersection, and what answer you get is the purpose.
Wow. And it's kind of recipe, let's say, right?
For me, it was
Yeah.
true, and it's not. I came with this idea. I read
Yeah.
it in some very good book. I forgot the name, and when I applied on myself, it became true. And probably if other people apply on their 3 P's, probably they will
Yeah.
find it true as well.
One thing that it kind of sparks to my mind is how do you think that the people around you, they were important in that journey? Because basically you're saying that your purpose is to connect people.
Yeah.
I can give you something and you need this thing, right? And I'm like probably during your, let's say during these 10 years that you're trying to figure what was your purpose, I'm sure that there were many people that maybe helped, a lot of people that also maybe were completely the opposite, very cruel with you.
Yeah.
But how do you think that these people, they shaped you so that you could find this purpose that today you are being able to implement?
So I think, Gabriel, any person that plays a role in your life shapes you, whether in a good way or a bad way. It shapes you, and it's upon you. How do you take it? It's upon you. You want to take it positive. You want to take it negative. If you want to take it negative, then probably the journey is not going to be anywhere. It's going to be dead. I still see many people. Unfortunately, I call them the blamers. Whatever you ask them, why it's not happening, why that is not happening, they have to blame everybody else except themselves. So probably the journey for them is not going to be anywhere. I was lucky, I learned this lesson very early. So I always took things positive, that what's in it for me. Is it a lesson? Is it a learning? Is it positive? Is it negative? How should I behave? So I think every person who played some role in my life shaped what we are today or what I am today. So in that case, family plays the most important role, most important. And family, I think if family, your wife supports you, your parents supports you, it's a blessing. Then it was very true for me. It is very true for me, and I was very lucky on that part. But along the way, you get some friends who support you. But there are some people, I think more people, are just the one who does not support you what you are doing in some ways. Either they are themselves not very knowledgeable. Maybe there is a factor of greed. Maybe there are some other factors, but those people may make you learn as well. So whatever is happening today is happening for a reason. If it's a pain, then it's a pain to learn. If it's a gain, then good. You are already doing something right. So there were people, I started to build an application, it did not work. I paid them fully, it did not work. I tried to start a business for, I think it was a food related business, it did not work. I tried to start a non-profit organization, it did not work. I tried many other things. So I tried 8, 9 other scenarios where I jumped in, tried, it did not work. Something or some way it did not happen. And it took years and years and years.
Yeah.
So those decade is full of those elements.
Yeah.
So I think what somebody is today is because of all the past, all the people he has been through.
Yeah.
So that's what I believe.
Is there like any example in your mind that, I don't know, because for example, for me, it's kind of different of the entrepreneurship side, but I always share this on the podcast. Like when I was 13, 12,
Right. Okay.
I was very chubby, a lot.
Right.
A lot.
Okay.
And I was in school with, I don't know, fifth grade maybe. And the teacher looked at me and she asked me, Gabriel, why don't you fit on the chair?
Right.
And imagine telling this to a 12 years old kid that
Wow.
is already struggling with his weight
I understand. Yeah.
and managing a healthy life. And then the professor, the teacher that is leading, that is the leader of that moment with like 30 other different friends and colleagues, the person told me that. So in that moment, I was like, what? Like, what is this? And of course, first day was depressing. Second day, I was like, Mom, we need to go to the school to fire her, to do something. Like, how can she do that to me?
Mm.
But unfortunately, or actually very fortunate, that moment kind of sparked the change on me.
Mm.
Because from that moment on, I said,
Mm.
okay, from now on, no one is going to tell me this. And my mom was trying with me for 1 year, for 2 years, taking me to different doctors, nutritionists, but not was working. But was that moment that kind of initiated that change in my mindset. Because
Right.
everything's
Right.
about your mindset, right?
Right.
So I'm giving you this example. Is there anything in your mind during these 10 years that you're trying to find your purpose that you could kind of, okay, now I need to change? After this moment, done.
Couple of moments, Gabriel. First moment was money. When I realized money and peace or money and happiness is not connected.
Yeah.
That was the first moment. Then I realized about the business. The business, that is something that provides value to the client. Then this is the second point, when I understood the value of creating a value in business. Because before that, I was making a product, selling it, and that's it. And there are like hundreds of competition in the market. Third thing I realized from this experience, the uniqueness. Whatever you are doing, it has to be unique. It has to have a USP. Then the fourth and the last thing, I realized the power of selling. Now I say it's not about the product you make. It's not about the service you deliver. It's about how do you sell it. Today we are living in a world where making a product or delivering a service does not matter at all. No matter how good or best your product or service is. The most important thing that today that matters is how do you sell it. This is the game changer. And that's what I learned the last lesson. And when I learned the power of sales, this is where somehow I slowly and gradually came to networking.
Yeah.
So these are 4 different elements and different times, maybe with the gaps of 2.5 years each. These are 4 big lessons which I learned.
Yeah.
The final one was the biggest one.
Biggest one.
Yeah, the sales is the game changer in today's world.
But why you think that?
Because there is a lot of competition. For example, I'll give you one example. For example, if my mom, my friend, somebody makes a better burger than McDonald's, does it make her or him a better business than McDonald's? Probably no. McDonald's is a better business because it sells better. If somebody has to beat McDonald's, it does not have to make a better burger than McDonald's. It has to sell better than McDonald's. So if Subway has to beat McDonald's, Subway doesn't necessarily need to make the best sandwich or the better sandwich. It just needs to sell it better than McDonald's. You and I both know McDonald's is not the best burger in the world, but it is the best burger brand in the world. It's the best burger business in the world. Why? Sales. This is just one example and there are countless.
Yeah.
Second, I can give you an example of the competition. Perfection is there. The world today is full of best products. But is the world today full of best brands? I don't think so. So if you pick the categories, in each category you might find one best brand. It's not because of he or that business carries the best product. It's because that business could sell it better than anyone else in the world. So that makes people or that makes business successful today. And that is a challenge with the entrepreneurs, Gabriel. Entrepreneurs focus, and including myself, I focus a lot of time building the product, building the app, building the web, add this feature, add that feature, make a Facebook on the day one. And when you go to the market, nobody uses it. It's a clutter. I have met somebody in a very last few days back. He has spent $1.6 million on building a product. It's a tech product. Everything is there. It is amazing. But I told him, how many clients do you have? He said, none. But my clients will love it.
How do you know that?
Selling will make the difference. If you could sell, it's going to be the world's top product. But I think it is going to be a challenge. Yeah. So I highly recommend entrepreneurs, don't build the product on day one with the full service or full package. Start small. Start from a page. And recently, I also met a couple of entrepreneurs from the same networking event we met. They were making a product. It's a marketplace kind of service, and I tell them, and they were shocked. I said, you don't need to. They would like to spend some money on the application and website, and I have made those mistakes. I told them, if you can sell your service through a PDF, make an app. But if you cannot sell your service through a PDF, don't build an app. So first, go to the laptop. Don't spend thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars. Go to Canva or go any software. Go to the Word. Put all the pictures over there. Put a hyperlink and a button, book here. That's it. Share it with your friends. See if they book. See if they find a value. They will complain about the user experience for sure. But did they buy? Did you sell? If the answer is yes, go for the next step. If the answer is no, please stop.
Yeah, and actually that's very interesting because just now we were talking about the three P's, right?
Yeah.
And one of the P's was perfection.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about kind of going very fast,
Yeah.
producing a product that actually maybe is not the best one yet to launch it there, right? So how do you balance that, let's say?
So Gabriel, the perfection does not mean that the product has to be perfect. It means that it is solving the purpose perfectly and nobody else is doing it. You are the one. It does not mean, for example, iPhone. If we talk about Apple, was Apple before 2007? No. Apple became Apple after a lot of struggles and tries, but it was the brand. It was not probably the best brand. It was the brand. It was a very good brand. But Apple became Apple because of the iPhone. And if you see the sales, it's skyrocketed then. So it's all about how do you manage to sell a good product. I'm not saying, so I'll give you another example. If you make a best product in the world and nobody knows about it, but if you make an average product and everybody knows about it, which one we sold more? This is a simple analogy. I'm not saying that there has to be a substandard product. Nature does not support substandard products. Your product has to be best. But all I'm saying, while starting a journey, start focusing on sales more than you are focusing on the product or the service. Yeah. It will help many people. It will save millions of dollars if at least 1,000 entrepreneurs implement this. I'm telling you. Yeah. There is a big impact because I daily see a lot of entrepreneurs spending a lot of money on making a product, especially technology product, and they're not able to sell it. Once they launch in the market, nobody's downloading it. So guys, I would recommend start from the PDF.
Yeah. It's very interesting because that's even something that we talk like with my partners and with the people in our team, that our flag, the Brazilian flag, is wrong. Because in the flag is written order and progress. Mm-hmm. But what we have come to realize that we cannot have progress if we have order at first.
Mm.
At first,
Mm.
we need to have a chaos. We need to have problems.
Right.
Because when we have the problem, then we can go create somehow
Right.
an order and progress a little bit.
Right. True.
But then the chaos will come again. The challenges will come again.
Right.
So it's not like, okay, now it's progress. No, the challenge will come again.
Right.
It's going to have a lot of problems, a lot of challenges. We're going to sit again together as a
Right.
team. Okay, where are we going to be heading now?
Right.
Let's create some order here. And then we move again. And we move again. And that's what I tell to each and every single person that works with us. Like, look, here, don't worry. If you commit any mistakes, it's fine. We need to. Because if you're here, let's say a person arrived last week, and if you're going to be focusing the first month on just planning how the other month will be, by the time we're actually, let's say, posting some things on social media, we're going to spend 1 month planning something without even knowing if
True.
is that what actually our audience wants to hear.
Right.
Is this actually something meaningful?
Right.
So instead of planning for 1 week, for 1 month, let's plan on a weekly basis.
Right.
So by the end of the 1 month, we don't have one feedback.
Right.
We have 4 different ones.
Right.
Of course, it's not going to be the best one. You can. It's your phone?
I think so.
No, it's okay.
It's just maybe some alarms.
Yeah, no, it's okay. If you want to. So, like, let's say in this first month, we're going to have 4 feedbacks. So instead of focusing on creating what we think is the best, let's create small.
Right.
And maybe the feedback will be harsh.
Right.
Maybe the first round of feedback it will be the worst, that
Right.
we're going to be very disappointed. But we know that if we do that, in the 1 month period that we have to fulfill our tasks,
Right.
it will be way better than
Right.
if we just waited.
Right.
Then you just waited for, okay, it's going to happen in 1 month. Let's plan now, work a little bit, you
Right.
know, speed.
Right.
Speed. And I think that's a little bit of an entrepreneur would need if they want to find their purpose. Because as you said, like you had 10 years to find a purpose.
For
It's a
me,
long
it took
period.
it's a long period. Yes.
So of course you were only able to find that because you're trying, because you are doing. You're committing a lot of mistakes. You're not waiting to be perfect.
Right.
Make
Right.
sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think this is the journey. It's always in ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's always in a graph mode. There is nothing like it just goes up and up with no nosedive. I think it's we live in a cycle, and we
Yeah.
live in cycles, up and down and up and down.
Yeah. And one thing that I wanted to ask you is that during this journey, one thing that I feel that a lot of people struggle today is like the paradox of options. Because we would think that when you have more options, it's better for us. Because then if I don't want this, I can do that, and so on. But at the same time, I see a lot of research that shows that even like businesses, let's say you have McDonald's and you have Five Guys. On Five Guys, you have a very few options. And what it turns out is that this restaurant, the percentage of people buying those products is a lot higher because they arrive there, they just have 2 options.
Right.
Burger A or Burger B.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
So I'm giving this comment because I wanted to ask you, how do you think and how was in your journey that having a lot of options, do you think that this was something positive? That you're able to commit a lot of mistakes, change your route? Or do you think that at some point...
Right. Good question. Yeah. So Gabriel, I think we are most of us are victim of, I call it, diversity paradox. Nowadays, a lot of people believe there has to be a diversity. A lot of people are talking about super apps. I know 1 or 2 companies in UAE, they are investing at least $500 million in making a super app. But honestly, I'm not fond of big diversity or super apps. I believe we are now living in the world of perfection. We don't need one place to have it all. But all we need is, at that one place, whatever you find is perfect. It cannot be found at any other place. So if somebody believes that putting all products, all services in one application or in one business will make that business successful, I would disagree. I believe you just do one thing, and do it perfectly. Once you achieve that level of perfection that you believe or you see or you have a feedback that nobody else is doing it, shift to the similar ones. So I believe if an entrepreneur needs to grow, it just need to solve just one small problem.
Yeah.
Do not try to solve 10 problems or 50 problems or 100 problems. Once you solve that one problem and you solve it, try to solve this problem then perfectly. Talk to the customers, talk to the buyers, talk to the suppliers, and see what is missing. If anything needs to be improved, improve it, implement it, then improve it, implement. Once you reach to a level of perfection, then see what are the similar markets. Like, for example, I'll give you a very good example of Facebook. Facebook was never meant to be a social network for the world, but it was a perfect network for the classroom. It only started for one classroom and the second classroom and the third classroom. But all people could see on that application at in those times were only your classrooms, only your classmates, nobody else. Then they connected class together, then they connected campuses together, then they connected universities together, then they connected the world together. But they were perfect in connecting the classmates together. So be perfect in what you do if you want to scale. Do mistakes, it's fine, but implement, improvise, and make it perfect.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I see it's somehow I struggle because sometimes we think that more it would be better, right? But in the end of the day, if we just reduce not to the basics, but to what we know how to do the best, right? Then we're able to kind of have this, not just the sale, but then the entire experience of the customer or the client in a way higher, let's say, they would enjoy a lot more. They would actually refer your company or brand to someone else.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I think so why in the start you mentioned that why most of the people are taking this networking world very seriously. I often thought about it. You know, Gabriel, we now are living in a world of digital world. But digital world lacks in one thing, and that is called credibility. You don't know the one you are seeing on screen who really he is. He is, or maybe something I'm claiming I'm not that guy. It's quite possible. But people who are connected to me really know me very well. Similar goes to you and similar goes to everybody else. So we are living in a digital world, and in that digital world, the thing which is lagging is credibility. So that's why networking is becoming popular, because networking gives you the credibility. Networking gives you the feel. Networking gives you the answers of the questions you cannot find on screens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. It's like, as we started saying, like, I don't know. Actually, I want to know your opinion on this because from from what I hear people saying is that everyone wants to be good at networking. It's like a buzzword now. Everyone needs, okay, I need to do network, I need to do that, but maybe they don't even know why they want to do that.
So, very good question, Gabriel. First of all, what I am into networking, and honestly, I am not very happy to share that I see a lot of people do not succeed in networking for a couple of reasons. Reason number one, they do not know exactly what they're looking for. They're not very clear. Jack Ma says that 70% of the problem of not being successful is you do not know what you want. It's 70%. You do not know what you want. So people who come to networking events, they do not know mostly. They just need business. Yes, I understand business, but who to meet, where to meet, when to meet? These are the couple of questions, and how to meet is the most important. Then the second problem with the people who come to networking, they're not as patient as it is required. They are in hurry. They need results tomorrow. But networking is all about seeding and watering, and then growing the tree. It will take time, and some plants will not grow. Some will grow. So networking is you sow some seeds, 5 seeds, water them, wait. Some will grow, and might be 1 or 2 might not grow. Water the rest of 3, then make them good plants. Then some plants will give you fruits, some will not. So take care of the people, take care of the plants which are giving you good fruits. It will come by time. So for example, I'll give you one example. The first business I closed due to the networking event was after 9 months. But it becomes a cycle. slowly and gradually people start knowing you, and then people start referring you. This is one. The final mistakes which people do or do not focus on, they believe networking gives them the direct business. It's not like that. When we are talking about Dubai, it's not about how many people you talk to. It's about how many people talk about you. So when you go to a networking event, you build a lot of connections. Make sure if their business, these people are probably not going to give you the business, but make sure that these are the connections. Whenever they know someone, they should talk about you. But we do that mistake. We do not build that bridge. We want results tomorrow. So that's where networking is very difficult. And when most people say art of networking, I think networking probably it's not for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
Why?
Because networking keeps certain kinds of skills.
Hmm.
Number one skill is listening. I have seen many people who you just shake hand, they start speaking and speaking and speaking. Probably nobody is gonna listen to them. So that's why in the start I said networking is about listening from an arm's length. Because if you're listening, other person is speaking, I call it, this is my word, I call it emptying the bowl technique. So Gabriel, your brain is full. My brain is full. You are having your challenges. I'm having my challenges. You are having your problems. I'm having my problems. You are having your thoughts. I'm having my thoughts. So our brain works like a bowl. And all bowls are full. So if you allow somebody to speak, the bowl will get emptied and emptied and emptied. There will be a time when the bowl will be completely empty. And if then you say something, the other person will be receptive. So this is a technique. So if people just speak, probably it's not good for networking. If people are shy, they are not, like I'm shy whenever I go to unknown networking events, I'm shy. I say I'm not good at networking. That's a problem, and probably that was the reason I started my own networking events, because I was shy. I was not going to people. But when I do my own networking events, I am the host. My job is to welcome everybody. So that's where, if you have come to our events, probably we both have got a chance to shake hands in the very start, because I try to welcome everybody who enters into the room. So networking takes a couple of skills, and I'm just sharing. I don't go to networking events a lot because I believe I'm not good at networking when it's about other networking events. For one big reason, it's not just me. It's about the other networking events as well. They're not very well moderated. They give you a glass of drink and just
do whatever you want.
Whatever you want. Then the second problem with the networking events, it's random. Everybody's there. It's not focused. It's you go to a networking event with a purpose, and when you see there are different people who does not meet with your purpose, then the game is done. So these are a couple of reasons. And when I say the last reason, networking is not for everyone, is probably the nature of being introvert and extroverts. If you are an introvert, your energy goes down when you go to networking events. You do not like to talk, even respond. I have seen many people in networking events, they do not respond very well. You ask them something, hi, how are you, what do you do? Yes, and then they are scattered. So these are a couple of reasons. I believe networking is not for everyone. And I do not say that networking is the only way to go forward. There are many ways. But first you have to find out what is your role in the business. I believe there are 3 roles in every business. 3, just 3. Planning, operations, and sales. So the person who is on the sales side need networking. But the person who is on the planning side or on the operation side does not need networking. So networking is probably for the salespeople, and that's why when you see most of the salespeople are extroverts, because this is the requirement of the role. And that's where I say networking is not for everyone.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very, very... It's something that, to be honest, I never stopped to think. And I remember when I went to the first dinner, you said yourself that you are an introvert. And I remember that you gave a pitch. It was like, let's see, one first pitch that you wanted to give to kind of show to the founders how to do it to be in a more effective way.
Right.
But it's just... So one thing that is kind of in my mind now is because we're talking that networking is very important. Right, it's something that it kind of allows business to connect, allow the money to kind of move, to make things happen in a way faster way. Of course, as you said, it's not fast. If you actually want something from the networking event, you probably shouldn't be going the first day and thinking that you're going to get $1 million offer deal there. And even after 6 months, right? If your very first intention is to get there, you're already wrong.
I believe so.
Right?
Yeah. It's a slow journey.
Yeah. So I just want to understand, let's say, imagine from a perspective that someone that is starting now and they're listening to us and they know that networking is very important, but they also know that maybe it's not for everyone. How do you think, what advice would you give for someone that is on this situation that they're kind of lost?
Right.
Like, I need to network. Should I spend more time, let's say, networking? Should I spend more time creating my product? Should I spend more time?
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, first of all, I would say I was not lucky in this area, but I think if somebody is listening and he's lucky, then try to see the co-founders. Co-founding team is very important. So try to distribute the roles. As I mentioned, business is all about 3 things: planning, operations, and sales. So try to find out which role do you perform in that company. If you are a couple of co-founders, if you are in operations or planning, probably you don't need networking. But if you are in sales, you do. But networking does not only mean going to networking events. Networking happens probably almost all the time whenever you meet people. So whenever you meet somebody at an arm's length and you start listening, networking starts. So it can happen in a networking event, it can happen in a bus, it can happen in a tram, it can happen on a shop, it can happen whether with your just neighbor. So if you are not from operations, if you are from operations and planning, networking is not very much required. If you are in sales, yes. Now what to do, how to network, how to build your network, how to grow your network. There are a couple of ways. The best way to build or grow your network is to meet people in person. This is the best way. And how to go and how to decide where to go, where to meet. First of all, you have to find out the purpose. What is your purpose? Probably the business, I agree. What kind of business is it? It's a technology, it's interior, it's construction. Then try to find out where these people are. You are the giver or you are the taker. Then you have to define the role. I am the giver or I am the taker. Almost everybody who is a giver is a taker as well. But it just depends upon the time. So try to identify at that point of time, you are the giver or the taker. And you are in sales or no. If you are in sales and you are a taker, try to identify where are the givers. Do not just go to random networking events. It will be useless and waste of time. And probably if it's paid event, waste of money as well. If you find relevant networking events, probably now you will find there are very, very few options left. Everybody says in Dubai, there are a lot of networking events. But when you find answers of these 2 questions, you will find there are very few networking events left. Now you can be picky. Then you can go to those networking events, try to have a feel, try to see. Probably I'll recommend, and probably it will be contradictory to what I'm doing, but try to go to those networking events which are subscription based or membership based. Try to become a member, because networking will not happen in just one way, right? So try to be a member in a related paid networking event. Don't go to free networking events. Probably a couple of reasons are there. Secondly, this is option number 1. Go to find purposeful paid subscription networking event. Number 1. Number 2, if not, you don't find it or you have already found it, but you want to network, try to go to exhibitions, try to go to different events which are happening. Unfortunately, on exhibitions, on these conferences, networking does not take place. And it's very hard. And that's where we started networking in the very first place. So, but still, try to shake hands. This is where you build your networks. Third is, and I see quite recently, it's becoming a trend now, LinkedIn. A lot of people inbox me and they don't sell you anything. They don't ask you anything. They are just interested in you or they want to meet over coffee. Just go, try to approach people who are looking to network with, invite them for a coffee, don't sell anything. Probably they will say yes, have a coffee, come back. Then have a couple of meetings like this. Slowly and gradually, you will start feeling that networking is working for you.
Yeah, like magic.
Like magic.
Yeah.
So networking, so I'll give you an example. What is the goal of networking? Goal of networking is not selling. And I'm going to disappoint a lot of souls now. The goal of networking is the people should talk about you. You should not talk about your product or service. Ideally, it should be people. And this can be achieved from networking. If you're not networking, probably it cannot happen. Because there are nobody who is knowing what do you do and can recommend you, either online or offline.
Yeah. So just one step. So you say like when you go to the networking event, don't talk about the product, but talk about you.
Okay. So when we people go to networking events,
Yeah.
okay. So I'll share my 5 C's.
Mm-hmm.
If you are in sales, if you want to build good connections, if you want to build good business, then business is all about 5 C's. My business fundamentals are in ABCs. 5 C's, 3 S's, 3 P's.
Yeah.
So 5 C's, I call them the formula of getting business or formula of growing business. So 5 C's are, I call them connection, communication, credibility, cost, and closing. So when you go to networking event, don't try to close. Try to build the connection. And how the connections are built, listening from an arm's length. Listening, whatever anybody has to say. Do not just introduce yourself, say who you are, but let other person speak. He will speak and then he will give you a chance to speak. Take his number so he will remember you. So when after networking event, you call him, he should pick up your call. But if you are just the speaker, probably no call is going to be picked, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's one thing that I kind of, I don't know, I kind of come to realize that sometimes we as humans, we make things seem harder than they actually are.
Yes.
But I'm not saying that things are easy. No. But I was talking yesterday with another guest, and he's an entrepreneur here in Dubai as well. And during the conversation, I could feel that, yeah, that's it. It's simple. But a lot of people, they just don't do it, right? So as you're saying, like networking, you have some kind of things that if you just, like from the outside, if you just read, okay, go to a networking event, talk less, listen more.
Right.
Simple.
Right.
But it's so hard to, in reality, and in your experience, you see every day, a lot of people going there for sure and just speaking. Just,
Right.
okay, I am this, I do that, and I want 1 million for 5% of my company.
Right.
Like, what do you mean? Like,
Right.
okay, 1 million, like, I don't even know you.
Right.
I don't even
Yeah.
know, wait.
Yeah.
You know
So
what I
Gabriel,
mean?
I'll ask one question. You have been to our last networking event. And you have to think about it before you answer the question. And the answer of being who was best at networking is in your answer.
Okay.
We never talked about it, but I'm going to ask this question.
Okay.
You have been there. You might have seen who are the people who are mostly the listeners.
Yeah.
Who were those people? There were 2 kinds of people. There were founders or business owners who were there to get probably investment. And there were investors who were there probably who are going to invest. But let's see who was good at networking. You saw more founders are listening or you saw more investors are listening?
Investors, of course.
Investors. So who was good at networking?
The investors.
Investors.
But who needs more? The founders.
The founders. But who built the network?
Yeah.
Are the investors.
Yeah.
So just reverse the direction. If you see the investor is speaking, and the business is listening, trust me, that business is building the network, not the investor.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, this case is not happening.
Yeah. Again, when you see, it kind of goes back to the simple things, right? It's like human connections.
True.
We cannot expect, like it's always in a 2-way. And that's what I was reading the other day. We also need to treat and to handle our career, our friends, our family, our work. They're all relationships. A lot of people, they say that they draw a line between work and relationships, friendships. And I agree, but at least for us in our experience in the company, in the New Year's Eve, half of our team went to the house of our founder.
Nice, okay.
Just to be together there.
Good.
Why? Not because we were forced or anything, but just because we had so much fun together, working. We had so much fun building that thing. Everyone is such in a good vibe. And just so that you have an idea, today we have around 30 team members in our
Mashallah,
team.
nice. Very nice.
And the average age is 22.
Wow, average.
The average.
Amazing.
So you can just feel the place, like everyone at this age, working from 8 to 10, not because we ask for people to be until 10, but because they have that purpose.
Hmm.
And we see that the leaders, they're not there to kind of sit on the chair with a suit, or let's say, or with a fancy clothes, or with a nice lot of meetings that they would have, but they're there to create more leaders.
Right.
You're only a leader if you're able to create more leaders
Absolutely.
around you.
Absolutely, yes.
And again, it comes back to simple things
Mm.
about the relationships, how you're going to listen
Mm.
more than talking.
Mm.
That's how we build connections. I cannot go and just start ranting about my life. Of course, at some point, maybe with your friends, you need
Mm.
to. And I mean, that's part of any relationship. But like you're just meeting someone, right? And then, la 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 la. la.
Right.
Wait,
Right.
right?
True.
It just comes back to the simple thing, but it's so hard to implement.
Right. Gabriel, it's very correctly said. I have observed the same, that we make things harder than it should be. And probably the reason of those things is we are rash. We want to get things done like this, but it does not happen.
No, it's the time.
Right.
The secret is the time.
Time,
right?
patience.
Yeah.
Especially
And
in
no one has
entrepreneurship.
it.
Yeah,
No
no one
one
has
have
it,
more
but time teaches.
Teaches.
We run. I'm not sure if you are a part of that community. We have
Yeah.
investors founders
Yeah, yeah.
community as well. Trust me, I'm not happy seeing today's founders, because they are very reckless. They are very rash. In my industry, we are into connecting investors and founders, and most of the founders have a perception that investors are hungry for investing. It's not like that. Investors are not hungry. Investors want to grow their money, and they have the patience equal to the 100 founders in that group. One investor is equal to the patience. The patience any investor has is equal to the 100 founders in that group. I see they're very impatient. They just want things right now. And if anybody just complains, and if anybody just highlights any mistake or shortcoming, they become aggressive. Unfortunately, this kind of behavior is lethal for any entrepreneur.
Yeah. And it's very common.
It's becoming very common because we are the generation of the clicks.
Everything's fast.
Everything is very fast. Clicks, Tinder, TikTok, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, done. Right swipe, left swipe. But the fundamentals of becoming successful are still as same as they were 5000 BC.
Without any phone.
Without any phone. The fundamentals are same. Patience, persistence, passion. If you want to be successful, it can happen with only these three basic P's.
Yeah. And then, as we are saying, it kind of comes back to the magic, because we wait and we are like every day, and you were for 10 years kind of seeding like a farmer, going there every day, checking it. And then as magic, after 10 years, things started to work.
Right.
And then people from the outside, oh, wow.
Right.
It's like very fast, right? Out of nowhere. He was working a job like 2 years ago.
So, Gabriel, I must quote a quote of, people say it's of Einstein, but I'm not sure. But it's impacted me. It has impacted me very much. Never underestimate the power of exponential growth. It's very slow in the start. Somebody just quoting that 95% of the money which Warren Buffett has made came after his age of 55. I did not check it, but this is something that is very true. Exponential growth is very important. Patience, and then you start getting results.
Yeah, 100%. I wanted to just dive a little bit more in Tablon.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear from you, but I think that you guys didn't start the way it is today, right?
It was by chance.
Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of ask you, how was, let's say, your first product? How was that one compared to today?
Okay.
And how you were able to kind of close this gap?
So the first product was entirely different. The first product was a commission-based lead. So I was a commission person. I used to come to you. Hi, Gabriel, how are you? Gabriel, I have a network. I know a couple of people. If you are looking for anything, please let me know. Gabriel does not listen. Day 1, day 2, day 3. But persistence, I learned along the way that persistence, patience is there. But I'm not stopping. I'm calling Gabriel every week. Hi, Gabriel. How are you? Good morning. Gabriel, just if you have anything, just let me know. Gabriel is not offensive because I'm not selling. Gabriel is just saying, okay, somebody wants to help me, but I don't have anything to ask. But after 2 months, after 3 months, Gabriel calls. Gabriel says, Farooq, yeah, I actually have a small requirement. I am looking to revamp my website. Do you have anybody who can do that? And I immediately picks up the phone, call my web developer who I already know, and ask him that there is a client for you. And we have already signed an agreement for 15% or 20%. So that was my very first product. Closing leads for people. So I was a salesperson for approximately 1,200 companies, theoretically, not practically.
Yeah.
So whenever there is some requirement, I used to go to my directory of 1,200 sellers, pick the right ones and give that lead to them. Whenever they used to close it, I used to earn the commission. But along the way, Gabriel, something happened. The painful incidents happen. People have a tendency to forget. So whenever they used to close small business, they used to pay me good commissions. But whenever the deal size or lead size is big, 100,000, 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, then probably they started forgetting me. And that was the point I realized that actually I am into sales, but I am not fully required for all the steps. The thing we mentioned, we think very hard way. The things are a lot simpler than that. So I talked to a friend. He said, Farooq, you are in the right business with the wrong model. Your business, your product are not the leads. When you connect buyers and sellers, are you required any further? No. So your job is to build the connections. So once the connections are built, your job is done. So I said, okay, you are very right. So next time Gabriel called me, hi Farooq, I have a small requirement. I have to revamp my wall or ceiling. I used to come to this guy again for interiors. Used to call him, hi, please pay me 500 dirhams. I have a client for you. And the person used to say, no, I would not pay you anything upfront. I said, but I'm not going to give you client unless you pay me 500 dirhams because I'm going to give you the connection of the buyer. Then I tried this model a couple of times. It did not work. Again, I went to drawing board and I thought, what should I do now? Then I came to networking. Then I thought maybe I'm not able to connect one person with one person for 500 dirhams. But maybe if I gather 30 people into one room, they are willing to pay me 100 dirhams. And that's where the networking started. And that's where I came to networking. So the first product was the lead, and my last product and the current product is the connection.
Yeah.
The first product was the lead among buyers and sellers or among investors and founders. But now my just only product which I serve is the connection between investor and the founder.
But the purpose is the same.
Purpose is the same. Model has become different.
Yeah. And how do you see, at least, what's your vision for the upcoming years for?
So Gabriel, it was a very difficult question for a lot of years, long years. I started seeing it quite recently. That actually, we live in a very fast-paced world. And since I'm into business of connecting investors and founders, I strongly believe that what I see coming or what I want to build or what I want to leave the legacy with is helping people book a meeting with investor in less than a minute. So I or my team, we are thinking towards a model where we give you a platform, probably an app, where you can connect and book a meeting with investors in less than 60 seconds. Currently, it's not happening, but I'm very happy that we have started this journey. At least we are now able to connect people. It was in 1 month previously. Now it has come down to 1 day or 2 days. Ultimately, inshallah, we are looking forward to make it just within 60 seconds and you are done.
Wow.
Yeah.
But one thing that comes to my mind now, and maybe this is a tricky question, I don't know, and maybe I understood wrong, but we were saying that network is about patience.
Yeah.
And then you're going for 1 minute.
Yeah. So networking starts with building a connection, listening from an arm's length. So at least you need a booking, you need an appointment to be at an arm's length.
Yeah.
So when we are saying 60 seconds, it means that Networking is starting, but networking is gonna end at the same
It's
time.
the fire.
Yeah,
that you ignite.
Ignite.
Yeah.
Is the seed
Yeah.
which can be see you in which can be planned to see you in 1 minute.
Yeah.
So this is the goal.
Yeah. I mean, I really hope that you enjoyed this conversation,
It
because
is
for me
lovely,
it was
yeah.
amazing. And I really hope that you guys were able to learn something. If don't, no problem. Just tell us. We can try to improve.
Right.
But thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Gabriel. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you.
Good, yeah?